Hey, what's going on, my friends? Welcome to this video. If you're on this video, I'd have to imagine you've already had a spiritual awakening. When it happened, you probably were filled with hope and promise for a very bright future, and now find yourself completely dumbfounded why everything is falling apart. Career, relationships, your sense of self, your identity, everything's unraveling at the seams. And you thought, wow, I thought I was like heading in a good direction. What the heck is going on? What's the problem? What have I done wrong? Have I somehow messed up this opportunity? And the answer is, it's all fine. It's all normal, and it's all happening, as you probably already intuitively know, for a good reason. What comes to mind is my good friend Matt. He's somebody I work with. He's a business partner and a close friend. And Matt is someone who had what I would call like a classical spiritual awakening, where he was actually sort of initiated, you could say, by a legitimate guru. This guru at one point touched Matt right on the third eye area with his finger, and basically sent Matt into a full-on what's called the Kundalini awakening, where like the energetic component of the spiritual awakening process is kind of like unleashed, and it starts at the base of your spine, and your whole body is flooded with energy. And in this moment, this guy touched Matt, and energy rushed up Matt's spine, and he found himself enveloped in divine ecstasy and bliss, and he realized everything is one. This wasn't an epiphany. He experienced the unity of everything, and he just left this like little session floating on cloud nine, and he thought, whoa, I've made it. I've reached like the pinnacle of the human potential. I've had my awakening. Everything is fantastic. And then, to Matt's surprise, which also may be, you might understand and relate with as well, he was a little bit surprised when everything fell apart. He broke up with his girlfriend. He was booted out of his apartment. He lost his job. He was a lawyer. He lost his job, and then he became a drug addict. So on paper, things got considerably worse after his spiritual awakening. And about a month or two later, because this all happened in a very short span of time, which can happen with people, Matt went back to the guru and said, what the hell did you do to me, man? Why is all this happening? And the guru sort of calmly and sort of like bluntly said, well, it sounds like your life has been built on a faulty foundation. Everything that you created that is not a genuine extension of your authentic self is doomed to crumble. And by having a spiritual awakening, by definition, it's almost like the true self is finally emerging, coming online, demanding influence in your life. And instead of, sailing off into the sunset, you got to kind of start over and kind of start from scratch. You got to start from a clean slate. So anything that's not authentic to you, not really resonating with your deepest self, is going to very quickly and sometimes abruptly and sometimes unexpectedly fall out of your life in one way or the other. And the irony is, as these things happen, if you were honest with yourself and if you knew you were going to be good, you would probably welcome them leaving. If it's a relationship, it's probably a relationship that was not fulfilling. Probably a relationship that was not really making you happy. If it was a job that fell away, it's probably, I would have to predict it's not a job you loved. If I was to say to you, you're going to keep this job for the rest of your life, how does that make you feel? Probably empty inside, dead inside. So all the things that are falling out of your life aren't that great. But I know it's scary because you're thinking, well, I have nothing else. I need a job. I feel lonely without my partner. I need a place to live. I get it. And it's hard. This is what they call the dark night. They don't call it the dark night of the soul for no reason. But I can tell you, let's go back to Matt's story. All this happened, and he found himself at one point literally living in like a friend's, like I don't want to maybe it was a casita or a basement, but he said it had one smelly, crappy mattress without even a bed frame on the floor in like a very like a 9x9, like teeny ass room with no air conditioning. And Matt, he was a lawyer. He was dating someone. He had a nice apartment. He had another business actually. And then he had a spiritual awakening and lost all of it and found himself on that crappy, nasty mattress in this little crappy, unair conditioned little room. And on paper, he regressed. But in that state, there was something that woke up inside of Matt. This, almost like this evolutionary impulse, this recognition that there's a deeper part of himself that he was oblivious to. And then once he started to kind of glimpse that kind of sparked new choices, new actions, investing his energy in new directions, areas of focus that were aligned, that were inspired. And from this blank slate, you get to start to recreate your life, but not on a faulty, sort of egoic and unconscious foundation, but upon the true you. The real you starts to manifest in reality. And I know Matt now. Matt is now a very successful coach. He does what he loves for a living. He has a YouTube channel with over 200,000 people. He's impacted hundreds of thousands of people in a very profound way. He works with his best friends in a business that brings him joy and satisfaction. He bought his own home. He's found his soulmate. He's got 2 lovely little puppies. He is a very happy man who's living his purpose, and he's on fire with passion and gusto. And it's when the pendulum finally swings. So I know if you're watching this and your life is falling apart, it's not fun. It is scary. But again, it's going to swing upwards. And I think part of you intuitively already knows that. Another reason this happens, it's kind of like a rite of passage into becoming a fully functioning, mature, self-empowered human being, which are kind of few and far between. And we sometimes need these perfectly aligned, pain in the ass, inconvenient challenges to bring up parts of ourselves we never knew were there, parts of our power, parts of our intuitive gifts maybe for some of us. And all these qualities we kind of cultivate in this sort of dark night of the soul type of storm, allowing us to really reach our potential in this life. And it might seem like you're regressing on paper. Oh my God, I was in a good spot. Now I'm not. People are judging me. You're probably doing more judging yourself even more harshly. And a lot of this circumstance is made into this huge problem. But all it is, it's like you're training. It's like it's part of you really blossoming, basically. And I made this video to invite you to see it from maybe a different perspective. I know your intuition's already telling you all this stuff. I know that. But I'm hoping to maybe ease your mind and help you understand just the nature of this awakening process. It's a destructive process. In fact, let's see. I can't find it. A lot of books there. But there's this very well-known spiritual teacher, Oddo. I recommend him. He's a badass. He's someone who's really achieved enlightenment, and he's a brilliant teacher. And he says, make no mistake about it. The spiritual awakening process is that of destruction. It's a unraveling. It's a deconstruction of everything that is not you. And if this is happening to you, that means you're going through a spiritual awakening. But as like these walls and castles crumble, what's left is the spark of who you are. And this spark is finally set free to create a new life on a solid foundation, built upon authenticity, built upon your truth, built upon your true potential. And even though it kind of starts small, one of the main lessons I think we learn here on earth is patience. It starts small, but it builds and builds and builds and eventually starts to exponentialize. And eventually you find yourself in a way better situation than you were to begin with. But then it just keeps going and going and going and going and going and going. And it continues to expand in a in a way that makes you very grateful to be alive. Even though right now in this moment you might be not so grateful, not having the best time. So anyways, I hope this video kind of can help you have a new perspective on this fundamental deconstructive nature of the spiritual awakening. But what goes down will eventually come up. So anyways, I wish you well, my friends. Have an amazing day. Much love to you all. Peace.